Why does it seem like all the awful things in the world spur from New Jersey? Like, I don't get it. I really don't. We have this article coming to us from New Jersey 101.5, and this is a bit of a doozy. So let's get into it. New Jersey child predator who says pedophiles are a persecuted minority wins appeal. Yeah, you heard me. I'm going to say it again just in case you're only listening. New Jersey child predator who says pedophiles are a persecuted minority wins appeal. We have gone way too far with the identity politics nonsense. We really are. Where you're a persecuted minority now. Oh man, the floodgates. The evangelical Christian conservatives of the 90s was trying to warn us and we didn't listen. We didn't listen. This is written by Sergio Bachayo. Or Bachao. I'm not sure which way to pronounce that. A convicted sex offender who argued that pedophiles are victims of discrimination and that laws against sexual contact with children violate his rights has been granted an appeal. The legal victory this month was not based on what the court called the defendant's unusual strategy of promoting pedophilia, but on the constitutional right to a speedy trial. So they gave him, basically he wore them down. Like for the most part, he wore them down and said, they were like, screw it, we're done here. The now 31-year-old Gary Wolchesky was first arrested in 2009, but it took 7 years before his trial started. In a 44-page decision released January 28th, a 3-judge appellate panel said that part of this delay was the fault of Wolchesky, who insisted on representing himself. Okay, so here's the deal. The moment you decide you want to represent yourself, I just think you should be forfeiting your right to a speedy trial because, you guys have any idea how much law documentation goes in the world, how many precedents and statutes and just all the research that goes into not just even representing yourself. There's a lot of work that lawyers end up having to do when it comes to trial and it's in order to get the favorable in order to get a favorable win. And by forfeiting that right to the speedy trial, hey, we give you enough time to represent yourself because, like they say, he who represents himself has a fool for a client. But I mean, apparently he wasn't that foolish because he was able to get himself off. What the hell? But part of the delay also was the result of the investigation and new charges that were later added on. Wolchesky was accused of and readily admitted using his Xbox to communicate with boys ranging in age of 10 to 15, getting them to send him sexually explicit videos and sending them sexually explicit videos of himself. Parents? Yeah. No, you can get your kid an Xbox, just don't put it online. Seriously. I'm taking my kids to Thailand, man. My kids ain't gonna know what Wi-Fi or a tablet is, at least for the first 7 years of their life. This is ridiculous. Wolchesky argued that pedophiles are a persecuted minority and that the New Jersey Code of Criminal Justice wrongfully makes this conduct a crime, the appellate decision summarized. You know what? Yeah. You know what? You are a persecuted minority. The weird part is technically he's right because, most people don't consider children in that way. We appreciate their innocence and we don't want to break their innocence. So by all technical means, he's correct, but some things need to be persecuted. We have persecutions for a reason now, don't we? Some things need to be persecuted. And that type of conduct, particularly when it comes to children, no, we cannot greenlight this by any stretch of the imagination. He also argued that what he did was not against the law because the boys consented to his request at the ages of 10 to 15. I'm sorry, bro, they're not old enough to consent, and that is the law. So I'm really curious how this took so much time. Although many cases involving child predators result in plea deals, which spare the victims from having to testify, Wolchesky insisted on a trial, having 4 of the boy victims take the stand. Wolchesky also testified. Oh my God! So this is what happens when somebody uses the criminal justice system to be a dick, for the most part, because he's just relishing in the attention. That's what it seems like to me. And he really wanted to put those kids through that again, even though like those kids are just like, I'm telling you, everybody who gets over the age, because not everybody makes it over the age of 20, 25, you start to realize the poor decisions that you made in life earlier on. And one of the things that I will always recommend to people, like particularly my younger nephews and the like, is never make a permanent decision based on something you're feeling, particularly at that point in life, because it's fleeting. You'll still be here tomorrow, but your dreams will not. But the jury rejected his theories and convicted him in 2016 of first-degree aggravated sexual assault and related child porn charges. He was sentenced in 2017 to 46 years in prison. Good. As the appellate decision noted in its opening line, the case involves the sexual predation of children while in the sanctuary of their own bedrooms, highlighting the dangers children face today when they use the internet and internet-connected gaming devices, which I cannot agree more. That's why parents need to be far more vigilant when it comes to their children and what they allow their children to participate in. All right? Monmouth County authorities used the case every step of the way to draw attention to these dangers. Monmouth first became aware of Wolchesky after he posted YouTube videos advocating for pedophilia. Oh my God, this guy is just completely bonkers. The video still appears on YouTube. It was the mother of one of the victims who got the ball rolling on the case after she looked at her 12-year-old son's computer and noticed that he was chatting with someone named Teen Tech, who profile said he was 20 years old, and I like little boys. Oh my God. The mother sent Teen Tech, who turned out to be Wolchesky, a message telling him to stop communicating with her son. He replied, "I don't care what your mom says." Yeah. The mother notified the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, who then notified Monmouth County prosecutors. A month later, after he continued to communicate with her son, she called Monmouth authorities and granted them permission to analyze her son's phone. Wolchesky was already known to Monmouth detectives. 6 months earlier, they had interviewed him after he posted videos on YouTube promoting the concept of pedophilia. During an interview with detectives, he admitted that he found 10-year-old boys oh my God, I can't even finish it. That's disgusting. And he discussed using his Xbox to communicate with children using the screen name Teen Tech, despite the fact that he was in his 20s. He was not charged with a crime at that time. Authorities said they found evidence linking Wolchesky to 5 victims, plus thousands of files of child sexual exploitation. Eventually, he was only convicted on charges related to 4 victims because the 5th child declined to testify at trial. A trial was initially set for 2014, but was delayed when several of the victims revealed for the first time that Wolchesky had also gotten them to sexually penetrate themselves on. Oh my God. Wolchesky exercised his right to have the new charges brought before a grand jury, which handed up a superseding indictment on 27 charges. The appellate decision acknowledges that the case had a long and torturous procedural history that spanned the involvement of 4 judges. The appellate decision said that 7 years was a substantial period of time, one that requires scrutiny. The decision orders a lower court to examine in order to determine whether any delays in the trial attributed to prosecutors were legitimate. The appellate decision dismissed Wolchesky's other points of appeal concerning the fairness of the trial and the sentencing, arguing that any errors in evidence, comments by prosecutors, or jury instruction were minimal, considering that he chose to place his sexual predisposition with respect to young boys before the jury as the foundation of his defense strategy. The child victims in the case presented compelling evidence to harm the defendant inflicted by befriending them, confusing them, and ultimately inducing them to engage in perverse sexual acts, the decision said. That is the end of the article, but that is just ridiculous, man. That really is. And he won his appeal, but I think he was hit with other charges, so I don't think he's getting out. But come on, man, seriously, this is parents. This is why you need to be on your job. This is why you need to be protecting your children. This is why we can't have, and notice that the child's mother didn't take it to the child's father, right? Like, this is one of the bigger issues with having, so many single parent households, is because the kids themselves can get into all different types of shenanigans, and some of them fun, lighthearted, and some of them are this nonsense, and it has to come to an end. It really does, man. Like, if you got an Xbox, do not put it online. If you got your kids an Xbox or a PlayStation, don't put it online. Lock those parental controls up, man. Like, get like, yo, all you can do on your game is accept downloads, okay? Like, that's it. Because this right here is complete nonsense. So, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and BitChute and like, I'm the biggest fans of your boy over here. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? I mean, like, honestly, as much as I love tech, as much as I love the advancements that we've made when it comes to, technology and like, there's drawbacks. There are drawbacks. And I want to remind everyone that one of the longest running jokes in American history was how people couldn't program VCRs, right? Like the older generations, like are they the boomers now? No, they're not the boomers. They're like the Vietnam era generations. They had a hard time programming VCRs. And so you can take that lack of technical prowess and just expand it now, because we have all of these parents who don't know, or in some cases don't even care, that the internet has opened their children, their very vulnerable, apparently, children, up to these types of individuals who want to come through and just wreck any sort of innocence that they have. And it's really gross and really disgusting. But you may feel differently, and if you do, why are you sub to my channel? but I'd still like to hear what you have to say in my comments. So let her rip. Until the next one, guys.